Alright, so this I am very excited for. This is my new offensive style I call space bending, and I will be doing it with the next freelance offense. So this is part 1 of an entire series of vids that I'm gonna use to show you guys my new attack style. Overall, it is designed to be non-linear and complete freeform, so it's going to be very different from the previous approach and philosophy of my old offenses. So if you enjoyed this and you want more follow-ups on this, please add a like, and without further delay, let's get right into it. So first things first, how to set it up in game. So you want to go to the options, pause the game, and go to coach settings, and you want to make sure it looks like that. That's very important. You're going to make it look like exactly that so you can see everything that you need to see in terms of branches. And the freelance itself needs to be put into space to floor, so make sure it is in space to floor, okay? And it's going to be the next freelance, so that's in page 9 in your freelance set. So next is the brand new one, so it's got the most updates and it's pretty good. So next freelance, space to floor. Now, an important disclaimer to all of this is that always start your offensive possessions during the space bending of the next freelance by bringing the ball up the sidelines. Always bring the ball up the sidelines, okay? And before I show you how to bend it, let me show you what the spacing looks like. So the next freelance itself is, if you have the ball on the wing, you will have a triangle on the strong side as such, and the 2 wing players will be spaced on the other side. The power forward will always also be outside, it is forward spacing, and the one posting up will always be the center. Okay, and as you swing the ball around, you can see that the postman will slide over across. There are no branches coming up because we are in space to floor right now, so this is what space to floor does. Different from motion cuts, and I want you to put it in space to floor. I'll show you why exactly. And if you swing it to the corner or deep wing area, they will isolate that player and move the post to the opposite side. You swing it back across, bring it to the middle. There's the triangle again on the left, and the wings will be spaced out. And if you swing it one more time to the power forward, there's the strong side post and the other wing player spread out across the other side. Now you can also break the next freelance. And if you break it, it turns into a 4-1 spread type of spacing. And by break, I mean whenever you call a manual screen for yourself. So any player you call a manual screen while you're in next freelance, space to floor, you get this 4-1 spread spacing, which leads to this unstoppable 2K middle pick and roll that you should all be really good at by now. I've always preached this, get good at this, but the next freelance does break into this if you call a manual screen anywhere in the middle. So, with all of that said, now you know what the spacing looks like. Now you know that if you call any manual pick and roll within the next freelance, you'll break into that 4-1 spread spacing, so you get that elite 2K pick and roll style. So now I'm going to show you how to be a space bender on 2K, alright? You see here, I'm clearly still in that next freelance, space to floor. And now, here what you want to do is you want to tap L1 to open this play calling option. Alright, you see that? It's got the rows pick and roll, the post up, the smart plays, the rows ISO, and isolation. You are going to use the right stick to call these plays after tapping L1. And this is going to allow you to space bend the entire next freelance to your will. So we're going to begin with showing you some post up space bending. So you see here, once again, we're in that next freelance spacing. Manu has the ball. I'm about to swing it to Kawhi, and I've tapped L1 and I've selected post up. So what that means is you select post up with the right stick. What it means is that your primary post option in the lineup is going to come over to the strong side, so you can give him an entry post pass. And in this case, the primary option, post option for the Spurs is not Powell, it's LaMarcus Aldridge. So you can see Powell is going to get out of the way after I call a quick post up, and LaMarcus is going to fill the void and he's going to post up himself. This is one part of space bending, and Powell is going to continue fueling up that next freelance space, so that's deadly. Here it is again, we're in that next freelance spacing, the original next freelance spacing. Strong side post, so we swing it to LaMarcus, we swing it to Manu, and we call a quick post up, and you can see LaMarcus dive in. So for those of you who like to post and who's a good post up players, you can do this. I don't like that post up. I swing it back across and I tap L1 and call post up again with the right stick, and now I got that duck in action with the post kind of crisscrossing with LaMarcus and Powell switching the way. Another easy post up for me, nice and fast. As you can see from the space bending, it is very fast. You can also space bend for pick and rolls. So check this out. I've gotten the ball here with Danny Green and a pop quiz family. So what kind of spacing are we in right now? So I'm going to give you a few seconds to figure it out. What kind of spacing is this? And the answer is we're in next Freelance, but we have banded it before for a LMA post-up. So if you call a quick post-up by tapping L1 while you're in next Freelance space the floor, you're going to get this kind of post-up, alright, from the middle. So you're just going to do these in practice mode, you recognize it and it will become second nature to you. But here, we're going to use the Parker pick and roll option by pushing the right stick at that angle. And what happens is once you do that, the computer is going to select the most ideal pick and roll play from the playbook. Alright? And by ideal, I mean it's going to be the fastest play to assemble based on team spacing. And 2K has decided that from the Spurs playbook, the best one to call at that time for Parker is his horn style action pick and roll. And we flow right into it. And obviously how you use the play is up to you, but it will be from your playbook. And you see here, I'm bringing up the sidelines. I have a space band for a Parker pick and roll. And here, prepare for basketball utopia. Just check this out. I've called a pick and roll, starting the play. I'm just going to swing it around, look at the motion, look at the action, ball movement, nice and safe. And computer is just moving in a super intelligent way that you don't usually see. Remember, I'm telling them to call a play, and it worked out fantastic. This is the essence of space bending. It is fast, smart, and it requires very little work from you. And obviously, yes, you can also combine post-up and pick and rolls together during your space bending attack. So here we're in that next Freelance spacing, and I'm going to begin space bending it by calling a post-up. And for the next, obviously, it's going to be Mello, because he's the primary post-up option. I don't like the post-up here, so I'm going to go to the pick and roll and watch the arrow leads me with Derrick Rose to the side because I've called Derrick Rose pick and roll. And it just throws into the perfect play for that scenario with that spacing. That's great stuff. It's fast, you don't have to call the play, saves you time, and you don't have to think, you're just gonna react. So once again, I've started the space bending with the Rose pick and roll. I'm attacking out of the play, computer selects for me, best play out of the playbook. I don't like what I see, I kick it back out, and I space bend for a Mello poster. Look at that. Nice bend by Mello, good movement by everyone. Isolation poster for Mello, that's his job. He goes to work, bam. And you can also 4-1 brick the next Freelance and go into a space bend pick and roll. So you see, I begin the possession in next space the forward Freelance again. Middle pick and roll, classic action. It didn't really work, so now I call a Parker pick and roll with just nobody at the ball. I swing it over to Parker, computer calls the best play with that lineup in that spacing when I call that Parker pick and roll. Perfect space, perfect play, no time wasted, nothing to think about, space bend attack. So make sure you add a like if you enjoy the style. Obviously today is only the base layer. There is much more you can add to this. But I want to teach you this because I want you guys to attack freely without worrying about play calling. My previous offensive style actually requires you to be a pretty good play caller. Like if you were a bad play caller, you're probably not going to benefit most from that offense. And secondly, the previous style of my offense is very mentally exhausting. Sometimes if the game is close, if you're tired, or if you're frustrated, you probably end up not calling the game very intelligently even though there are smart plays available to you. You'll be out of rhythm because you probably just go with the basic options, you call the easy stuff, but in this next Freelance space the floor while you're tapping L1 to space band with the lead pick and roll player on your team or a post up with your primary post up option switching between the two, you will become this non-linear space bending attacker in 2K. I suggest you practice this a lot. It will feel great and it will also help you get quick plays that are right for your lineup, right for the spacing from the get-go. So use this, practice with it, play it offline, let me know how you guys feel about it. Any kind of feedback will be great for me because this is a brand new style. No one teaches you to attack in 2K like this. I'm the first one to show it like this. So it works great for me obviously because I've already been using this a long time and I've been developing it further, but I would love to hear you guys' feedback on this offline and online. Let me tell me if it's easier for you and it feels just great. Like for me this feels great because of the flow and the lack of attention I have to pay to play calling. Obviously I'll still call money plays and all that. The previous style still exists, but the base should be attacked like this. Bring the ball up and just tap L1 and use the pick and roll space bending, the post up space bending and attack out of that. alright, within the next freelance spacing. So understand that spacing, understand what you see, space bend to your will, post up, lead handler, pick and roll, do all of it, back and forth, back and forth. Let me know how you feel. If you feel like this puts you in a better rhythm, I will further add into this to make it more unstoppable. 2K is heading in this direction, I believe, in the future, so you want to stick with this because this is much more superior to my old style. Alright, as always, thanks for coming by. As much feedback as you can. I don't even care if you write an essay as a comment on how you feel about this style. I would read all of it because, you know, I want to know. I believe this is new age 2K offense, so yeah. Say as much as you want. Let me know how it works for you. As always, thanks for coming by. I'll see all of you next time.